I'm with Nimrod Palmach from Israel Is. Now, Nimrod, what is Israel Is?
Israel is an Israeli-based NGO that aims to get people closer together from around the world. To us, Israelis, we believe that by people-to-people connection, when young people around the world will get to know young Israelis, they will understand that we are totally good people and not as like the media has really demonized us, and we are not demons. And we believe in the power of people to people. And that's what we do. We get people to get different opportunities to meet with their peers around the world. We train people how to tell their personal, authentic stories around the world. We work with US campuses and other places, even in the Gulf countries. And yeah, this is what we do.
When were you started and why were you started?
We were started back in 2017. Our founder, his name is Ayal, he traveled the world with some friends and he faced anti-Semitism just by being Israeli. And even though they were, special forces guys, officers, they couldn't defend themselves. It's the first time that they were in a situation where they can't defend themselves. They don't have the proper tools to create a meaningful dialogue with other people. And there, at this point, they decided to establish Israel Is to give young Israelis the tools, not just to defend themselves, but to connect and create positive image about Israel.
You've already mentioned the US campuses. Has that been really, really important, especially when you see what's happening now on the US campuses?
Exactly. So we're not aiming just US. We want to focus on US, but we're working also in Australia, Canada, London, other places in the world. And yes, regarding campuses, listen, this is our next generation. These are the next leaders in so many aspects, economical, political, educational. And we believe they are terribly, terribly, and tragically misinformed about Israel is. And that's why we want to focus there. We want to work with the people on campuses simply to get to know us.
Has it shocked you the response that you've seen on the campuses?
No, it hasn't. I mean, I knew that anti-Semitism was always there. At some times throughout the last years, I felt that anti-Semitism laid only inches underground. It's almost like you could have scratched and see. And yeah, after the worst massacre, again, I think one of the most against humankind that happened on October 7th, we had the obligation to strike Hamas jihadist extremist terror organization. Unfortunately, they used Palestinians, civilians Palestinians, as body shields. And the moment we started this war against Hamas, I knew that what's going to happen is waves of anti-Semitism and hate towards Israel. Yeah, of course, we
Correct.
will suffer from double standard and from hypocrisy. People expect us things they're not expecting from anyone in the world, which is very odd, but we are used to it. And yeah, even though we feel our war is really right and we have all the privilege to do it and all the right to fight for both our freedom, our way to live in dignity. And by the way, I think for us, striking Hamas is not just for Israel, it's for also for the Palestinians. They deserve better leadership and also for humankind. So yeah, I was not in shock when US campuses targeted Israel really hard.
What sort of programs do you run?
What kind of program? So we have a
Yeah.
social media influencers program. When we train people, how to react to social media against the hates against us. We have get to know me, different workshops that we do on campuses for students. Yeah, and then we have the VR project where we are sharing 5 unique individual stories regarding October 7 on VR, virtual reality, to have people to actually get to see and be a witness of what happened there that day.
What sort of stories do you have?
So we have 5 stories. Myself is one of them. I was one of the first responders to get down south on October 7 and to witness and to fight Hamas terrorists. And a Bedouin Muslim Arab police officer who saved many, many lives on the Nova Festival. An Ethiopian Jew that lives here in Israel. And she was brutally attacked. Her best friends were brutally murdered. And she survived. It was a miracle. She survived to tell. By the way, that's why we called our project Survive to Tell. And another young girl called Milet only went there to dance and to party. And a hostage, his name is Ophir Engel, he was released after 52 days in captivity.
Wow. What did you see when you got down there? Did you leave from Jerusalem to get down there?
I left Jerusalem. I defied my commander's orders, and yeah, and I've seen many dead civilians that were brutally assaulted. I've seen what Hamas have done to the bodies after. They tortured before and mutilated bodies after. I've seen Hamas conquered and invaded quiet, civilized, liberal area and brutally murdered, raped, burned alive innocent people, full families, kids, individuals. It was just horrible to see.
This must have been quite shocking just actually getting down there, just seeing all this, because you don't expect this on a day when you wake up, do you?
No, I never believe I would be in a situation like that. It's a big shock, completely shocked me.
Mm.
Life is not the same sense, but yeah,
Now you're working in social media, you have the Social Media Academy. How important is that? Is Israel fighting a media war as well as a physical war?
it really is important. I think we are losing big time on this battle. And again, I feel that lots of people, young people, are misinformed and they're taking stands with actual evilness in this world. I'm not saying that things here are not complicated. I'm not saying that we shouldn't seek for peace or for for quiet between the nations and solutions. I do think this way, and I do think every human being that dies, it's an unfortunate. But I think these people are misinformed about Israel, using the word cleansing and genocide too easy, where the actual truth is the Israeli army, and I felt it as a soldier. We are actually risking our lives more as soldiers in order to save an innocent life or to spare life. So I know for fact this is lies. I know for fact Israel is not cleansing, is not operating genocide, and we need to make sure that these voices will be appeared. And once people will get to know us and see that we are just regular people like anyone else in the world, everything will be different. And one more thing I want to tell you, Paul, is when I was there and I've seen the atrocities of October 7, I knew immediately this is not Israel against the Palestinians. It's really not. This is not even Israel against Hamas. This is Western world civilization that has values like love and empathy and giving and human rights and and accepting and diversity against jihadist extremists that cherish death and destruction. This is what it really is.
Tell us a bit about the work that you're doing with soon to be discharged IDF soldiers.
So again, these soldiers are going to travel all over the world. They don't really have the proper tools to actually defend themselves or to go into a meaningful dialogue. They will be accused of so many horrific things that they have not done and not even dreamt to do in their lives. And it will catch them in a complete shock. And we want them to be able to speak and to invite people to talk with them into a more positive conversation. And that's what we're doing in this project.
How many people are you reaching around the world?
In social media, millions of millions, like dozens of millions. And face to face, we're aiming probably around 50 to 60,000 people a year. This is our ambitions for 2024 and 2025. Since the organization established, we already met 120,000 people for face to face activities.
Now we're seeing a rise in anti-Semitism, marches on the streets in London, college campuses, pro-Palestine events. Is it important for young Israelis to know how to fight this narrative?
Yeah, of course. I mean, again, we stand for truth and we stand for reducing hatred in this world and not the other way around. I mean, we are not demons. The Jewish people as a religion, as people, we are actually actively dreaming and thinking and practicing our religion. Even our culture, Judaism is not just a religion, it's a culture. And in our DNA of our culture is to reduce hate in the world, is to do good, is to seek for justice. This is what we are doing.
Why do you do what you do?
I'm passionate about it. This is what gives me energy in life. I love my country really much. I studied history when I was young and saw what happened to the Jewish people during the Holocaust in Europe and saw that eventually the world was quiet for a long time, not wanting or not able to reach out and help. And I promised myself, never again. This is what drives me the most. Never again, Jews will suffer this way. And unfortunately, I broke this promise, not myself. This promise was broke on October 7, and I had to make this promise again. Never again is now. This is my new promise. Never again is now.
So what's your website for people who'd like to know more about the work that you do?
They will get information about Israelis, about our activities. They can book experiences with us, workshops, VR goggles, and other stuff. And they can really experience what we're doing through the website. And they can also go into a meaningful dialogue with me via AI conversational part. Immersive, they can actually do it. So, and not just me, also four more survivors that I shared before. They can meet us online on the Survive to Tell website.
Okay, Nimrod, well, thank you very much for today.
Thank you very much. Good luck.